Good morning, everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast. Got everybody in the house. What's happening, guys?
Hey, fellas. How's it going?
All right.
It's wonderful. The Sixers are undefeated, and, we look like we are going to be, you just give us the championship. It's ours.
Hold on. Let's start this up. Let's have a realistic conversation here now, fellas. So
that's not what you two have. Not one time.
So have we moved on from having LeBron come off the bench? Have we moved on from that theory?
No, but here's a good question for you, Cam.
He said no, Bo. Did you hear that? He still has LeBron.
No. That's not what it's not what I meant. I have a question for you.
That's what you said. Okay. What do you
I know it's. I have a question for you regarding that.
Yes, sir.
That I feel that right now, that going beyond the fact that I think that he would be better coming off the bench because it's not me. That the Sixers have a great starting five that equals to about 24 to 26 minutes a game. I feel they need more. They need a lot more. Now, I heard a rumor recently that Drew Holiday is possibly they're working out the details to get Drew Holiday. And I tell you, if he gets on this team, then I feel whole differently because there's our defense in a big, big way. I know. I feel he's a much better defender than everybody we have. I also, as I'm looking at things, I see that Draymond Green is available, and wonder if
Draymond just re-signed with Golden State.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Like yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. I see. So that's fresh. Yeah, I didn't even know that. But I feel like that
you don't want Draymond anyway. Draymond would have been real clunky in that system.
But my question is that we have our good starting five now. Okay, so we have a starting five, but we don't have a bench. And when I think of how the Knicks won because they were deep. Who do you see fitting in? Like I said, Drew Holiday helps me tremendously because, like I said, I feel like he's a better defender than everybody we have on our team.
Not everybody, but your guards. He would be the best defending guard if they signed him. He'd be better than Edgecombe. He'd be better than Edgecombe because just with experience, championship experience. But I don't know that he would physically on the court would be a better defender than VJ Edgecombe. But okay, continue.
Right, but I feel like that we need more. That we need more of a bench. We don't have the 7 through 12 to win a championship. And I feel like that you would agree with that position at the moment.
They're not, they're vaulted. That signing LeBron puts you in the top 4 in the Eastern Conference. The way the season's going to have to play out to actually see it, in my opinion, to see where you guys actually finish off, but it'll be 2, 3, or 4, I would suspect. Do they need a roster? Do they need more of a bench? I would have just, me personally, here's what I would do, Pax. I would trade Joel Embiid tonight if I could. And that's more guilt, addition by subtraction. I don't know why you want to play. You have a fast team. You have a fast-paced team. Why would you?
And now you have a tandem of old guys.
Down? Huh?
I said, now you have a tandem of old guys. Not that he's that old, but he plays like he is.
And that's what I'm saying. Well, I think Maxey, Edgecombe, Jaylen Brown, they're best at playing fast. They would be best suited for playing fast. So you have Embiid in there, he's going to slow things down. You got LeBron in there who's going to slow things down. LeBron is faster than Embiid, but he's not, he's 42, so he's not going to be fast. I would trade Embiid. I would go with Jake Landale. Jake Landale I don't think you need a quality center in there. You need somebody who can rebound, who can rim protect. That's what you need. Joel gives you is great, but he only gives you that 25 games a season. And I don't know why you want to play with that you want to play with that all year long going into the playoffs. I wouldn't want that. I personally wouldn't want that inconsistency on my team throughout the year going into the playoffs. Like I said, I pick up a guard. I pick up some of your bench depth that you're talking about. You can get with pieces from Joel's salary. That's what I would do. You talking about putting somebody on the bench? I would talk to VJ Edgecombe and be like, "Yo, bro, Brown's going to get some buckets. Maxey's going to get some buckets. Your buckets come off the bench. When you come off the bench, you have a green light. You go for the gusto. And then so he still feels a part of things. Let him come in there, come off the bench and go crazy.
Is he versatile enough to play forward?
No, he's a guard forward. I mean, he's a guard forward 3 if anything. Are you talking about
like a shooting forward, like not a power forward, obviously. I feel like that's still what's missing here. Like you can't use LeBron in that power role. He just doesn't fit there.
That is his role.
I feel all right. So then you have him there for again the 24 minutes. Who do we have in those other 24 minutes? That's where I see. When I'm looking at
he's playing the power forward. If you play him at a 4, you can play him 4 or 5. Again, my whole thing is get rid of Embiid, open up that spot. That's my whole thing. I would do that tonight if I could. You're not going to get Embiid's talent. So let's just chalk that off the board. Let's not say we're going to get somebody who can shoot. We're going to get somebody who can score like him. We're going to get somebody a 7-footer who can do all of these things that he does. You're not going to find that.
You're looking for availability at that point.
Yeah, well, you're looking for availability, rebounds, and rim protection. That's all I would be looking for out of that position. And B can give you more. He can give you more. I grant you that, but it's just going to be so inconsistent.
And I'll be honest, I understand why you're saying all of that. I even somewhat agree with you on the thought process of I think that he'd be better. I'll tell you that they're not going to. This is their all in here.
It does.
This is their all in here. You know what I mean? So I feel like that they are. They're going to run with this crew, and my thought is that they got to fill out again 7 through 12. Like I feel like that even with 6, they got the rookie Phylon, who is going to somehow have to fit into this mix even a little bit. Who showed some really good flashes in the summer league, but it's the summer league, so I'm not holding any weight to that. I just wonder who the rest of this team is going to be. And if you're going to try to go all in, which is what the Sixers are looking at, what they envision as an all in is what they've just done here. That they are pushing their chips all in here to go, okay, hey, we're going to get Jason Kidd as an assistant coach. We got Allen Iverson as another assistant coach. We are putting everything together.
They signed Allen Iverson as as an assistant coach.
Yes. Yeah. And I understand why they're doing it. Like, it's like, hey, we're going to try to give him his ring. That's what they're doing. They're trying to give him his ring in Philadelphia. That they are saying.
About that? What do you think about that?
That it's a PR move.
Okay.
That's a straight PR move.
He's
so loved in this city. He's so loved in this city, and the one thing that he was missing is a ring. And they are trying to include him in this team that if this is the team that wins a ring, and that's what they are envisioning, that they want Allen to be a part of it.
They signed the guy from France last year. Did they let him go? What was the guy's name from France?
Broom?
Cato was in Boston. No, they signed the guy from France who dunked on LeBron in the All-Star game. Did they sign him? Not in the All-Star game, in the Olympics.
I don't know.
France. I'm looking at their roster. I don't see him on the roster. But that was the power forward that you were saying they don't have.
So there was a old rookie. That's what I'm saying. They just traded literally last night. They traded somebody to the Clippers.
Broom to the Clippers. I mean, Broom didn't fit your team anyway.
Right. Well, and that's what they were saying. It's that he was again clunky, but would have only been good on the defensive boards. Like, is really where they would have seen him fit.
Beauchamp is going to get some run for you guys. You guys starting Marchand Beauchamp. I didn't know that. Beauchamp is going to get some run at the 3 or 4 for you guys. You got Dominic Barlow. He's going to get some minutes. So these are your filler minutes that you're talking about, that you're questioning. Jabari Walker, they did get Dean Wade. He's going to play for you guys. Bona. Oh, you got Bona.
Yeah, Bona. Listen, I've had 3 years of Bona. I've had 3 years of Bona.
You see, enough?
Well, no, and it's not. He has flashes of
he's a
really
guy.
Good.
Yeah, he's a big guy, but he's not. He can't breathe because you got that other guy Embiid in there. So Bona can't get no. He can't get no run. He can't get no consistency.
Well, and the problem is that you need somebody who can go the other 24 minutes. Like, I feel like that's what you have right now. You have 24 minutes from Embiid, 24 minutes from LeBron. So now you're filling up 48 minutes of extra play. And the truth of the matter is that if you go play them more, for every minute you play them more, it's less time throughout the season. I have the over-under on 25, and I know that that's really low. Truth of the matter is that I think that it'll be somewhere in the neighborhood of 35 to 40 games that they play without, with
together.
Each other.
Together,
yeah. But I don't see beyond that. Like, I don't see that this isn't a 65 game team
no.
put together like that.
Is that 45 games enough for them to get their, get in sync to build their camaraderie?
That's enough to get into the playoffs. And that's what we're talking about, is them staying healthy. Because, I mean, that's the issue, is that they haven't been able to do that as of late. And, of course, you can bet on that prop bet right alongside us here on Coast to Coast. Use QR code on the screen. Hey,
there he is.
Get those sponsors in right away. Up to 125% of your first 3 deposits, 10% bet guarantee. Bet alongside us here on Coast to Coast. There we go.
But yeah, I firmly believe that we are like the over. Like I said, I have the over under at 25, and I think that that's an over. But I think if it was 35, I think that that's really close to being under. And it depends on when those 35 games are played. I am hoping that you get 10 in the beginning of the season so that you can kind of get a feel for what they're going to be, and then you get 25 towards the end of the season as they go into the playoffs. Now, do I suspect that's going to happen that way? It'll probably happen the opposite way. You get 25 games in the beginning of the season, and then you get 10 games at the end of the season. I don't know that that's going to be
not in a row.
So I mean, I am Like I said, I am agreeing with you in a lot of ways, but I also know that if they're going to get rid of Embiid, it's going to be in the offseason next year. It won't be this year at all. Unless somebody throws some very unique deal where they are not only going to get like a good bench, but also some draft picks, that's going to replenish them over the next 5 years, because I feel like that they don't have a first round pick forever.
Well, I mean,
nobody's going to give up. Nobody's giving that up for Embiid because he can't stay healthy.
Right.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. It takes a new general manager who may be trying to set a different type of standard. That's what I think has got to occur to go after Embiid, and because you want to have that splash of a name. The problem is that everybody's like, we're able to look at the entire NBA and almost make some of the calls for them. You know what I mean? Like they say, oh, you need this, you need this, you need this. Listen, the top teams are the top teams. The bottom teams are still trying to figure out what they need to get even to start sniffing the top. And ultimately, you can't get that without somebody new coming in. I don't foresee any changes happening that would make anything better. And the only team that I see that makes any sense at all that could possibly bring Embiid in to think that would make a change would be OKC. You know what I mean? But OKC's not going to do that. Why would OKC do that?
Well, and that wouldn't make sense.
How would that benefit OKC?
No, like I said, I feel like that would be what they would think could be additional piece to get them back over the hump.
He doesn't do what they do though. Like they are built for speed. He would mess with that ability. Like him going to a team like OKC or the Spurs just doesn't make a lot of sense.
And they would have to put a layer of mattress down for everybody on that court because they are more on the ground than anything else.
I mean, you're not wrong. But yeah, I don't think either one of them.
You need to hold that thought.
They wouldn't make any move for Embiid.
Well, no, and that's what I'm saying. That's the only place that I could see somebody having enough.
I would call again. I'm not looking for. I'm losing in the trade. You trade Embiid, just skill set for skill set, player for player. I'm losing by trading Embiid. I understand that. I'm taking 60 cents on the dollar to get rid of. I just think that not being available, available impacts your squad. If I can't count on you, or I don't think you're saying right now he's going to play 45 games. Well, that's half the season. Like if I'm going into the season, right, exactly. If I'm going into the season knowing you're going to miss half the games, what's your value? What's your value? I'll take somebody again who somebody with heart and effort, heart and hustle to give me the rest of those minutes that Embiid. And again, I'm taking 60 cents on the dollar. I understand that right off the bat. Phoenix, Houston, Memphis, Pelicans. I got Joel Embiid. I got a big time star for you. Are you interested? And that's where I would go. I would start there.
I mean, I will always take a try-hard guy over a star that's not available at least half the time. I mean, yeah, when you're on the floor, amazing. The problem is you're not on the floor, and I don't get to choose if you are available when the playoffs come. Like, you may not even be a factor.
See, but I was looking at the other way. Then
it's not even not being available. It's two things with Embiid and this the Philadelphia 76ers as I kind of envision them. It's not only that he's not going to be available, and then he doesn't fit with the squad. He's slowing everything down. In the playoffs, I understand that's a benefit. That becomes a benefit. But we got 80 games to go until we get to the playoffs. And if you're only going to play 40, and then after everybody else has to slow down for you, And in my opinion, he hasn't done that much of Philly to warrant, the stay till you live out your life for your contract. In my opinion, it could be very wrong. I'm sure there's a lot of Joel Embiid fans who think he should stay and he deserves an extension. That's not me.
Well, and I tell you that group is less and less. Yeah. So I don't think it's as big as you may think that it is. Like I said, it's.
I know
it's
there's people out there. I know there's people out there.
There are people out there.
Talking about an extension, can we talk about this extension for Jalen Carter? Oh my goodness! Now, this guy, when they drafted him, you guys got lucky and drafted him at 9. You guys got lucky. I think knowing Philadelphia and Philadelphia fans as I do, you guys might have put some calls in to the teams ahead of him and trying to tarnish his name a little bit just so you can pick him up. Did that happen, Pax?
He did that. He did that himself.
Well, we
didn't need to do that. He did that himself.
It was a car accident that happened, the year
prior. That was the big deal. Hey, listen, I was there. I got the first ever Eagles chant from him. You know what I mean? I was there when they drafted him, and he came out and he partied with us. I know the gentleman. He actually is a really nice young man. He is a beast on the battlefield. He lets his emotions get the better of him sometimes. And
he's a defensive lineman. I don't want this guy. I don't want an office worker. I don't want an office manager as my defensive line.
That's exactly correct.
I wanted to get after it, and that guy gets after it. He earned his money. So congratulations to Jalen Carter. Has that Georgia Bulldog infusion been all that Philadelphia fans have wanted?
As of right now, we've got 1 Super Bowl championship, 3 playoff appearances. Has it been enough for me? No, I'd like to see another championship,
Oh, this guy. This guy says, no, it has not been enough. 2 Super Bowl appearances in 3 years. It has not been enough for this guy.
Well, no. Listen, I get it. But
you get what?
They underachieved last year. And I feel like that is not the standard that I want from the defense that's getting paid like they are.
That's not the standard, the Eagles standard. I'm sorry. Before this last run, when were the Eagles in the playoffs?
They had won a Super Bowl. They had won a Super Bowl 8 years ago.
I just said that. I just said, Pax, before this they won the Super Bowl, or they lost the Super Bowl 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Correct.
Who was their last Super Bowl appearance?
They had won it 8 years ago.
Yeah. Oh well, with Nick Foles.
Right. So yeah, I mean, there's
came out of the blue. That was a surprise to you guys. Come on now, that was a.
But I mean, they've been pretty consistent over the last decade.
Right, yeah. And they have. I understand what question you're asking me. That being said, when you have set the standard, when Howie started to bring in these guys that have won championships, that's what he started to do. He started to say, okay, guys that win national championships understand what it takes to win championships, and I want them on my team. And he started to do that. And all of a sudden, we are in the mixes of going to championships. Well, I want us to be in the mix. I don't want us to underachieve, which is what I feel like that we did last year. We underachieved last year.
What did you underachieve?
I feel
what was the reason you underachieved last season?
There was numerous reasons. I think that there was some dissension in the locker room now that we are hearing it a little bit more in depth. I feel that there was some problems with coaching, that they just didn't have the trust in. I feel like that one of the things that I have learned over the last 4 years, because in the last 4 years, we went to the Super Bowl and lost, went to the Super Bowl and won, and we had 2 years where both of those years we were one and done in the playoffs. And I have learned that if you do not trust your offensive coordinator and buy in 100% to what they are doing, it doesn't matter how good of personnel you have, they are not going to win. And I will say that I've learned that over the last 4 years. I may have known that beforehand, but it's been very apparent over the last 4 years because of the way that things have been done. It's like you watch them, you got them to the Super Bowl probably 4 years ago when they really didn't deserve to go. They made it there. They had a great run. They did everything they needed to do. They trusted in their offensive coordinator, and ultimately they got to the Super Bowl. Arguably could have won that Super Bowl. For whatever reason, they did not. They lost. End of story. Go the next year, you have an offensive coordinator who they did not trust at all. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, you get 11-1. And then you go up against the team that has your number circled on their calendar. And the 49ers took us to task. Mm-hmm. And they changed the rest of our season. They literally beat us so bad that we had no more belief in ourselves. They didn't win. They won one game against the Giants on Christmas Day, and it was a Christmas gift. That's what that was. That we didn't win another game that whole season. Then you go the next year. You have trust again in your offensive coordinator. He was able to put together a plan, said, listen, if you guys do this plan, we will win. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, everybody else, like all the other places he had been to, they didn't put 100% trust into that. They decided to do that in Philadelphia, and they won a Super Bowl. He goes and becomes the Saints head coach, and he's starting, like I said, if when we get to that point, I think that he wins the division this year for them, just because I think he's the best coach in that division. We'll talk about that later. But last year, again, no trust in the offensive coordinator. So much so that the defense decided to stop playing too. I feel like that's what occurred a little bit. That the defense had so mistrust in the offense that they were just like, we're not going nowhere. This is too messed up. And I feel like that dissension in the locker room created the loss. Again, the 49ers beat us, knock us out of the playoffs. Yeah. And I feel that, okay, you've gotten rid of, you're talking about that addition by subtraction. A.J. Brown didn't even make it to the first day of training camp, and he's getting yelled at by the coach.
And he's complaining. So at least it's going well.
Yeah. So obviously we started off the right way here. We got rid of that distraction. There's going to be other distractions, and there always is. Some we know about, some we don't know about. A.J. Brown is a distraction that everybody knows about because he makes it be known. Mm-hmm. Howie does these signings on the first day of camp to show everybody else.
That's messed up, Joe. Don't put that.
I want to see the ticket, Joe. Buddy. I want to see the ticket. I don't believe you bet at all, so I want to see the ticket. So until you say, just because you say it, don't mean I believe you.
Where will AJ Brown?
We want to see your bet right here.
What type of season will AJ Brown have in New England? Will it be a number 1, 3, 5 receiver type season? Where do you guys see AJ Brown's season in New England this year?
No, I don't think it'll be that high.
Like if you're asking me where I would draft him in a fantasy football draft, I would have him as a 4th rounder.
4th rounder.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like
you're waiting to the 4th rounder to get AJ Brown.
Well, we have a 10-person league, so he's in the top 40. So I'm thinking that he's going to get chosen in the 4th round. That's where I have him in a 10-team league. He's in the top 40 picks. He's somewhere between 31 and 40. That's where I have him.
I could see that. I could see that. I mean, New England's
that might be low.
Their schedule is going to be much tougher. So we'll see what Drake May can do with a little more aggressive defense coming at him. So he
have aggressive defense with a much better receiver to throw to.
But I'm talking about his line specifically. Is he going to be running for his life? Can he get the ball to AJ? That's actually one of the things he's complaining about, is they're not letting him throw the ball enough already.
I mean,
if you're mad at not getting your
I didn't hear a complaint.
Already, what's that?
I haven't heard the complaint, but
oh yeah,
I haven't heard the complaint.
Yeah, no, that came out yesterday. Yeah, so
it's obviously it's day one. This is day one of camp. So
yeah, he's the number one receiver. I'm like, I don't know where the complaint of him not getting touches is. He's going to be the number one receiver. Like, the ball's coming to you, dude. So settle down.
Well, no, what he was saying is that they're not letting him throw it enough during camp already, because their camp's been in for a couple of days. So he doesn't like the opportunities that he's getting already, which is hilarious. And then, there's plenty of video of him dropping the opportunities he was getting. So, I mean, I don't feel bad for him. I hope they have tons of chaos.
Yeah, I
spoken like I had. So, can I ask you guys a question, please? This is something I'm curious about. I need somebody else's opinion, because I think the greatest coach ever coached a game is getting disrespected in a big time way. And what do you guys think? Can Bill Belichick tarnish his legacy in North Carolina?
No. As far as his pro legacy, no.
Coaching, I mean, it would just be coaching legacy. That's what I'm asking about.
No.
Belichick,
that's not true. That's not true. And here's why that's not true. Is Urban Meyer is still viewed as a fantastic college coach, despite being one of the biggest dumpster fires to ever hit the NFL. He leaves the NFL. People still regard him as one of the best college coaches. It's a thing. That's how he got back on TV. Is because of his college resume. It has nothing to do with anything he did in Jacksonville.
I will tell you, I think that Tom Brady deciding to give Bill a little bit of flowers in the process of the way he's been explaining things, and how, he's been more vocal on the fact that, hey, listen, it took both of us to win 6 Super Bowls. It had nothing to do with just me. It had nothing to do with just Bill. It required everybody to do it.
Of course.
And I think that when you hear that from the guy who's considered the best to ever play the game at that position.
He's not, but continue.
Right.
Most accomplished. He's the most accomplished at that position.
That's not the best, but continue.
Right. I mean, because I will have that same type of argument as well. But that is going to be enough to have him solidified. Plus, I think once he finally gets done with coaching at North Carolina and Bill starts to tell his stories, I think, because the one thing that you never knew about Bill is that he does have a personality.
Yeah.
And I think that nobody's ever seen that personality. But the moment that you start to, and he starts to tell those stories, and he make you laugh because those stories are funny, I think that changes the way that everybody looks at him. And he's not just the guy who put the dog in the chair when they were doing the draft picks on COVID.
I think that was funny. That was funny. I think that was funny. That was comical.
I thought it was very comical too, but people looked at that, and media looked at that, and the media was able to sway that to make it look like that was disrespectful.
Sure.
And I think that resonated because people listen to the media because they got nobody else to listen to. And I feel like that's been the story with him. I think he's been the best coach for a long time, and I feel that even Bill Parcells knew how great of a coach he was. Other coaches have known how fantastic of a coach he was. His tree is funny, though, is small.
Yes.
Which tells me that really he was really the architect.
Yeah. His assistants have never really panned out. Like he's had a couple that have worked, but for the most part, they end up getting a shot. They flame out hard and then they're gone.
Andy Reid, Andy Reid, I felt like was great at teaching head coaching. That he was able to create head coaches.
But you guys,
if you worked under him,
you guys ran Andy Reid off.
Well, yeah, that's beside the point. Besides, that doesn't.
Never mind. He wasn't good enough for us. His time here was done. Good enough for us, but
no, he spent 12 years here, and his time here was done. I mean, that was just it. Like, I have no bad blood to Andy Reid. He brought us to 4 NFC Championship games. It wasn't until he got Patrick Mahomes that he learned about time management. He had to learn that in Kansas City, and Patrick Mahomes had to teach him by taking it away from him.
Has he learned that, or does
I don't know that he really has learned it yet. I think that Patrick Mahomes is better at stealing it. Like Patrick Mahomes knows when he's got to take it from Andy. Yeah. So I feel that's a real thing. But Andy Reid was great at teaching other coaches how to be head coaches.
Mm-hmm. Well, you brought up the Chiefs and Andy Reid, obviously. Well, Andy Reid and the Chiefs. Does Eric Bieniemy bring these guys back to? Does Eric? What's the advantage, or what is Eric Bieniemy going to do for this team? What do you guys see?
I think that Eric Bieniemy is great at canceling out the noise. I think that there's a certain level of noise that comes with Patrick Mahomes and comes with Travis Kelce. And I think he's a noise canceller. He is, and he does it through his own noise, screaming and yelling and carrying on. Like, I don't know that he's got the best politically correct coaching, like the way that most coaches do it now. So I feel that he cancels all that noise out by being old school. And I tell you what, right now I feel like there ain't enough of that.
Well, that's right. I mean, the game has changed a little bit of PAX. The game has changed just a little bit.
Understood.
Over the last few years. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I'm eager to see his impacts. I believe Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback that the three of us have seen in our lifetime. So does a healthy Patrick Mahomes alone change their fortunes, or was Eric Bieniemy that much of rock or staple for the Chiefs in years past? I'm eager to see that.
I mean, define healthy, because I want Patrick Mahomes. Define healthy because I want Patrick Mahomes to have a high ankle sprain in the playoffs.
I mean,
hey, that hasn't stopped him from winning a Super Bowl either. So
that's what I'm saying. He plays better with it. So like,
no, I like to see a healthy Patrick Mahomes do his thing. But I mean, with their issue is their receiving core. Can the receiving core step up and help my man out a little bit? Because the receiving core has kind of been less than impressive in the last couple of years. I say that.
I agree with you there, and I feel that sometimes, like when he went to his first couple of Super Bowls, he didn't have those guys. I mean, it wasn't until really it was like, okay, I know he had what's his face who now can't run. He's got that bum leg right at the moment. But the fastest guy who Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know that he had that, but even in the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay, he was hitting Tyreek in the helmet, and Tyreek wasn't catching those balls. You know what I mean? Like he was doing. He probably shouldn't have even played that game. I know he was playing under a concussion, and he still was not the reason why they lost, because they were he was hitting guys like he just hitting them. Like, hey, you're wearing our jersey. Definitely turn around and catch the ball. He's like hitting them in the shoulders and stuff like that. These guys aren't paying attention and whatever. And, I felt like that it was almost like that somebody was paying off everybody so that Tom Brady won his 7th.
Yeah, but sometimes there's also like Juju, who hasn't done anything, had a great year with him the first time through.
Right. Yeah.
He played well, obviously, with the Steelers, and then outside of that, he hasn't done anything. He had 1 year there where he balled out during that season. So I mean, now he came back and didn't do anything the second time, but.
So I think that, although I personally would argue that Joe Montana definitely falls a little bit more into that conversation terms of people that I've watched, you know what I mean? That I've also, like I said, I was at that Super Bowl. I gave him his flowers right away when he won that Super Bowl. I'm like, that's why he is right now the best quarterback in the NFL. I watched, I had scientific report on why he was able to be so effective in the second half. It was just like, hey, the fact that they had 8 extra minutes in the halftime was able to make the difference. Like, it don't matter how much they shoot his leg up with. He could have had a leg that he couldn't feel for weeks. It wouldn't have mattered. He still had to do everything he needed to do to win that game. Yes. And he did it all. And I watched him do it all, including act enough to be able to get the flag on that last drive. You know what I mean? Because he did that too. You know what I mean? And listen, whatever. It doesn't matter. He was able to make it happen. And he was able to lead them to a comeback where we were up by 14 points, 10 points, 14 points in the first half. So all that stuff, I watched that stuff, and I gave him his flowers then, because you saw why he was considered the best quarterback in the NFL.
But you have Montana ahead of him? Is only Montana or just Montana? Hey,
listen, I watched Joe Montana against the gangrene defense score 4 touchdowns in 5 minutes and 47 seconds when Seifert was ready to take him out of the game. I watched that as he scored 4 touchdowns in the end zone I'm sitting in, and I'm watching down on him because I was on the first row of the 600 level at the vet, watching him do this and tear apart our defense after he was sacked 9 times in that game. When you see that level of greatness, and listen, I've watched great play, and I'm not one of those guys that's just poo-poos past things. You know what I mean? Like, it's that day gave me so much more respect for, one, the quarterback position as a whole, and Joe Montana as somebody who, it was like watching Joe Burrows in his first game against the Eagles.
Who was your quarterback that game? Who was your quarterback that game?
That game was Cunningham. Randall. So, also, amazing quarterback with no help. You want to talk about somebody who was not given any help? Not with the Eagles. Never had any help with the Eagles.
Mike Quick didn't play for
Mike Quick. Mike Quick was already out. Yeah, Mike Quick was out. Mike Quick played one season with Randall Cunningham.
Keith Jackson. Okay,
he played Keith Jackson at that point. That was his last season. He played for 3 years. Keith Jackson, one of the best tight ends to ever play the game, in total. And I've spoken to Keith Jackson about it.
How you gonna say he didn't have no help?
He didn't really have any help. He didn't have an offensive coordinator. Every resource for that Eagles team went to the defense and went, to Buddy Ryan. Like, it just literally was all about Buddy's defense, and that's that. You can say what you want. I lived it. Trust me. It was all the
I mean,
defense.
To say Randall Cunningham didn't have any help, but didn't Keith Byers play on that Eagles team?
He did. Listen,
I just named 3 guys and I didn't even look at the roster. The 3 solid players that I didn't even look at the roster.
And how many playoff games did they win? How many playoff games did they win? Who was their offensive coordinator? Hey, listen, when the defense has scored as many points as the offense is,
the defense
and
was
you
one
have
of the greatest defenses in all of football, all of the history of football. So
I understand.
To say Randall Cunningham didn't have any help is preposterous.
I could bring in a lot of football players that would say the exact same thing.
You're gonna bring
that played on that team.
You're gonna bring
no. I could bring in Seth Joyner. Keith Byers. Ask Keith Byers. Like I said, I would love to get Keith Byers on the show one day to tell you and explain to you how he felt the exact same way. That listen, the person who was making the adjustments at halftime a lot of the time was Jim McMahon. Because their offensive coordinator was horrible. There was no resources in the offense. No resources for the offense.
Say the offensive coordinator was horrible. Don't say Randall Cunningham didn't have any help. Because I'm going to refute that. I'm sorry. I'm going to refute that.
Okay, you can refute it all he wants. Because the moment he started to get real players, he went 15-1. And if it wasn't for the kicker of the Vikings and the holder of the Vikings, they would have probably won the Super Bowl that year. Right?
You're comparing the 1998 Vikings, one of the until recently the top 3 scoring team in the league, to what the 80s Eagles did. Come on, it's 2 different things. In Minnesota, everything went to the offense. In Philly, everything went to the defense. To your point, there are 2 totally dramatic different squads there.
You are 100% correct, and I'm just telling you that there was not enough. So here's the one thing that I could say: the offensive line of all of those Eagles teams was like 25th or less during those seasons. They were one of the worst offensive lines. That's all I really need to say. Had any bit of resource went to the offensive line, had any bit, they would have. You just told me
that they had there was no resources.
There was none. They all went to the defense. The defense was one of the greatest of all times because of the fact that every resource went that way. Every resource went that way. I'm just saying. Listen, I lived it. I was here. I know. You could blame the fog for the Fog Bowl, that maybe we would have beaten Chicago that day had there been no fog.
I don't know how that game didn't get postponed. I don't know how it did get canceled. That was a weird one. That was a weird one to me. And because
they never did those things then. You're right. Had that happened today, they would have delayed the game.
Those arguments are hilarious because based on that, if we had 53 other guys, we would have won more than 2 games in 92. Like, what are we talking about?
So, listen, I get it. I hear all the things you're saying, but I also, like I said, I watched Joe do that. And just like that's what made me a fan of Joe Burrow. Watching his very first game, Joe Burrow against the Eagles, he gets sacked 8 times and then gets up, brushes himself off, and leads his team to a tie against us.
Yeah.
There's no reason that there should have been a tie at all. Actually, we should have crushed them that game, but Joe Burrow just did not quit. He did not quit. It's what made me a fan of him from the very beginning. Now, unfortunately, he hasn't been able to stand up as well since that game, but I mean, he knew how to take punishment.
Well, his protection has gotten worse since then also. But
it was bad then. He got sacked 8 times that game.
No. It was bad then, but it got worse as time went on. So
hopefully you talk about putting some focus on spreading focus around their team. Hopefully they put a little focus on their defensive side of the ball.
Well, they drafted a kid and they got a free agent, and then they were like, we're bored. So, like, will it be better? Sure, because they were 31 of 32 last year. Will they be a top 10 defense? Absolutely not.
No, I mean, come on, who top 10? They got to get out of the 30s.
Yeah, I don't know that they're
32 teams.
I don't know that they're a top 20 defense. They're probably going to be somewhere in that like 22 to 25. Like, will it be marketably better than where they were? Marketably better? Sure.
Yeah, that 22, 21% might be just enough. What they just all.
Are we talking about the Bengals?
Yeah.
No chance. I got them at 28. They're the 28th ranked defense.
I think they'll elevate a little bit more than that, only because of how bad they were. So I think they'll be kind of that mid 20s. Like that's probably about where they'll be.
I think that the Dallas defense has gotten better enough that they jumped them. So no now question. You've already gone back one spot.
Yeah, no.
So now you're the worst defense in the league.
Dallas will be a.
So when you have Dallas at 29, where'd you have?
No, I had Dallas at 32. Dallas was the worst defense in the league last year, and then I got Cincinnati at 31. So now if Dallas has jumped them, because I feel like that they've done enough. Now you're the worst defense in the league. Now who's better? Who are you better than? I think I don't know that you're better than Tampa. Well, especially now that guy wants to get out too. I mean, I got to imagine that's not going to help their things.
Yeah, and their defense is going to spend a lot of time on the field. So
I feel like Oakland's tough. You had Arizona, their defense was supposed to be great, and they were not. And I think that they may, be in that mix of in the 30s, 31, 32, 30, 31, 32. You don't want to be in any one of those spots. No, but I don't know that. I think Cincinnati right now is probably in the 31 spot again.
Yeah, I think they did enough little things to be better. Again, I think they're mid-20s, and like they're not going to make a huge jump. Now, Dallas, on the other hand, like they did some actual work in this offseason.
Got some players. They got some players now.
They drafted.
That's what I'm saying. They drafted some players.
7 picks, 5 of them were defense. So
I mean, the safety and their linebackers is going to have the most impact on that squad. So.
So they picked up so Downs was their first pick, and he's going to make an immediate impact. They picked up a corner in the 4th round that I think is going to be helpful to them, and then they picked up 3 edge rushers. Malachi was the first one they picked up. He'll be a factor. He was their other first round pick.
Be in their rotation,
yeah. And I feel that like Dallas's defense is always reliant on the middle linebacker. Yeah. That's very, and Vander Esch has been put together with duct tape and bubble gum for the last few years.
Is Vander Esch playing again? Is he?
No. That's what I'm saying. He was. Yeah. Now, once you replace him with somebody that's more sufficient, I think that you make that defense a lot better in general. That's how their defense runs. And without that guy in place, their defense fell apart last year.
Right. I think they drafted a linebacker. I don't know a name off the top of my head, but I think they drafted a linebacker.
That is correct. They did. They put in. I thought that was their 2nd round pick.
The Giants. How do you feel about the Giants? Are you worried about the Giants at all? Are you worried about a Dart? Or I'm not worried about Scatterboo. I don't think Scatterboo is going to finish another season. But are you worried about? Not worried about the Giants and Harbaugh at all? Not one bit. Not one bit.
No. I think the
Giants have some talent. I think the Giants have some talent quietly. I'll be interested to see. I don't know. I'll be interested to see Harbaugh's impact. I think they had a lot of veteran players in Baltimore. In Baltimore, things were set up pretty sweetly for him, where they was always getting the cream of the crop players in the draft. And he had to just put them on the field and kind of work with them. I'm interested to see the impact that Harbaugh has in New York. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm interested to see that. That's going to be intriguing to me this season. And, I mean, they got a quarterback. They got a receiver. They don't have how the GM still has a job is beyond me.
So they're going to be interesting, not necessarily good, right? Like they're going to be
intriguing.
Yeah, they're going to be a fun watch. They'll be a fun watch even in losses. Like they're going to be entertaining. Will it equal a lot of wins? Probably not. Like that's probably a 7 or 8 win team at best. But will they be interesting? Absolutely.
I think they
I have the over under for New York football teams over under at 12 wins
combined.
When you say
combined
football teams, okay, they're AFC, NFC. I'm talking about combined. The New York Giants. I'm talking about the New York Giants.
Both teams. I'm saying that they are going to be under. They're going to be under.
How you combine both teams? They're in 2 different divisions.
I'm just saying that both the New York teams stink.
The Giants have good players on their defense. That the defense they'll be better. I think the Giants are going to be better than anticipated. I want to see Harbaugh's impact. Harbaugh's going to have a huge impact on this squad, whether win 7 games or they win 10 games. Harbaugh's going to have a huge impact.
Yeah, they're not.
I'm eager to see it.
There'll be a 7 or 8
They have players on their defense. Their defense is not going to stink if the receiver comes back healthy.
I didn't say they're going to be a 4-win team. I said they're going to be a 7 or 8 win team.
And that's a couple more defensive plays, they win 10 games. Throughout 17 games, a couple more defensive plays, they win 10 games. That's what I think their defense has some players. I just don't know what Harbaugh's overall impact is going to be. And I think if they found another receiver, the receiver that got hurt, I don't know where he is. Do you know where he is coming back? Where his injury situation is?
Neighbors is not expected to make it back for the first week.
But he'll be back throughout the year. If they can find another receiver for Dart to throw to, I don't think Dart is that bad. I think Dart might not be the smartest quarterback, but I don't think he's not a bad quarterback. I think he can play the game. It's just he's going to have some things to work on. And I'm interested to see what the Giants do. I don't think they're not going to be the worst team in the league, but I'm interested to see what they're going to be.
Well, you know what? If they need a receiver, I heard about a receiver who thinks he's great. He's great number 2.
That's right. Diggs says you can't name a better number 2 than him, and he's not wrong. Now, when it comes to second receivers, he's absolutely wrong. But because if he was the best second receiver, he'd be on a roster.
That's correct. So
I think there's some things that precede him.
I think they are still number 4 in the division.
I think they'll be better than Washington.
We'll see.
We'll see how Daniels come back. That's a big question mark too. If Daniels coming back, and now that first year 2 years ago they had Daniels had that remarkable season, but he did that with some older players that I don't think they're on the roster.
That first season, they became the oldest roster in the league. I mean,
Washington.
That's tough to run it back. Yeah.
Yeah. Not only did Daniels get hurt last season, but that's hard to duplicate. So let's see how they replenish that roster. I mean, that's going to be intriguing. I mean, I think they'll be neck and neck with the Giants, but I think the Eagles and the Cowboys are obviously competing for that division.
For sure.
I don't even think the Cowboys make a competition. I think that the Eagles win this.
Why would you think the Cowboys have some competition?
I think the Cowboys can still split with us, but I think that it's going to be by week 13 we're going to have the division in hand, and then that's it's ultimately I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
So what's your record prediction? You said by week 13 you'll have the division in hand, so you're going to be what, 12-1 by that point?
And we'll have to cover that next time because we got to get out of here. So there you go, cliffhanger. Tune in next Wednesday for that prediction. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. And of course, if you are listening on 97.3 ICU Radio, stay tuned for some smooth jazz. Otherwise, we're going to get out of here right at that hour mark. Take it easy, everybody.
Peace.
Have a good one, man.